Yo, what's good, guys? I'm Jasper, a media student of Monash University. The film Spotlight is an American film directed by Tom McCarthy. The film talks about a newspaper office called the Boston Globe, and there's a group named the Spotlight is working for the case of priests molesting children in Boston, and finally find the truth and tell the public the story. In the movie, there are so many issues of journalism. This video will focus on three main crises: the safety of journalists, the freedom of the press, and the power of the newspaper office these days. First thing first, the crisis, the safety of journalists. According to Mitra and Garrido's book, Medium, Specific Traits for Journalists, Examples from Philippines, Afghanistan, and Venezuela. It mentioned that between 2020 and 2016, UNESCO registered 530 deaths of journalists. It's a bloody fact. What a pity. It represents that so many journalists die for the justice and die for the truth. In the film, there are still some signs that verify the concern. For example, like the interview of the victims.
I gotta get this shit out of here, all right? You leave me alone, you leave my brother alone, you hear me, goddammit?
Bonnie, who are you talking to?
Father
It's okay,
Father
Jane.
Peckman, who raped you?
Who are you?
Sasha Pfeiffer from The Globe.
Please
I
get
was-
off
for
my
myself.
porch. Get inside the house, Ron.
Mr.
Get inside, Ron.
Sorry. I'm sorry. Who are you?
I'm his sister, and I don't want you coming back here.
Miss Paquin.
Secondly, the main crisis is the freedom of the press. Based on Sandoval and Collins' research in a cross-national study, Weaver, 1977, operationalized press freedom rather narrowly as freedom from government controls. It means the valuable news should be out of the government's control. In the film, the role of controlling the news is not the government but the church.
But you just said they're public.
I know I did. But this is Boston, and the church does not want them to be found. So, they are not there.
Mitch, are you telling me that the Catholic Church removed legal documents from that courthouse?
Look, I'm not crazy. I'm not paranoid. I'm experienced. Check the docket. You'll see. They control everything.
Last is the power of newspapers. Patterson has said in his article that newspapers have seen layoffs and newsrooms reductions, shrinking newspapers and less money to spend on coverage expenses. Jones, 2009. Journalist and TV producer David Simon predicted this in a 2009 op-ed by when he reported that releasing the name of a police officer who used a weapon against a civilian is entirely up to a Baltimore police commissioner. What does that represent? It illustrates the paper got cursed, they got the truth. If the paper got not cursed, they will get a fake truth, which is misinformation and delayed information.
I already talked to the Phoenix.
Yeah, and there's a reason I didn't see it. Nobody reads the Phoenix anymore. They're broke. They don't have any power. The Globe does. If we cover this story, everybody will hear about it.
These issues still threaten the journalism these days. First of all, the peace is less. So many war reporters must go to the field to report the newest situation of the war and might die in a war field. Then the freedom of the press. The media still is the tool of the political system. The government still can choose the content for audiences, whatever the Western media or Eastern media. For example, the TikTok, the Western one and the Chinese one is exactly two worlds. Some news is blocked. Finally, the power of the news. In the digital era, the cost of producing news has decreased, but it's more demand the professional news office spend more cost to find the newest and more reliable information for audiences. At the same time, it's a new challenge that journalism faces as well. People are already confused about what is true and what is fake. People don't care about it. It threatens the stature of news. It's gonna be one of an entertainment for people. At that time, the truth and justice will disappear in the world. Finally, the solution of this crisis is encouraging everyone to learn more. Doesn't must to be academic, but enrich your mind, thinking critically, so that can understand the world clearly, can understand how the news or how media works, and finally you will gain the courage of find truth and protect justice.